Welcome back to Health Check. I'm Heidi Godman. Boy, I didn't even want to say hi. I wanted to just keep listening to that tune. That was cool. Thank you, Luke Rosebauer, my producer. Hey, I wanted to talk to you now about something that you may be doing and not even realizing it, that could be adding to your calories each day and could be adding to your weight, and that is mindless eating. Now, maybe you know about people who just sit in front of the TV and bring a box of chips or something and just eat away at a box of chips or crackers or something like that. That's mindless eating. But mindless eating can also come in other forms. One form is kind of a risk for me. This is my weakness. I'm sitting at the table with my family. I'm having a great meal. I feel full. I push away from my plate, push my plate away, or I push myself just a little bit away from the table. But maybe our little boy who hasn't finished eating it, we don't leave the table until everyone is finished. And so we're sitting there and chatting and meeting and having so much fun, a lot of laughter in our home. And because I'm still there, because the plate is still there, well, I might just, have another bite. And oh boy, didn't that taste good? I have another bite. When maybe 5 or 10 minutes before, I had already decided I was full. That is my weakness. Is that yours too? That's sort of mindless eating. It's there, so you eat it. You're not really paying attention because you're more involved in the environment. It can also happen, for example, if you go to a Mexican restaurant. They bring the chips and the salsa, and before you know it, it's all gone, and maybe you ate a lot of them. Most people do not overeat because they're hungry. They are overeating because of environmental factors. So you might eat too much because you're just not thinking about what you're doing. You're not paying attention to it. And if you are one of those folks who snacks without thinking of it, or if you help yourself to more food than you need at your mealtime, sometimes like I do, you can change your behavior. So I have some really good suggestions to help you focus on what you're eating. And not just on what you're eating, but how much you're eating. And it's very important. So first of all, don't fill your plate up. Research shows that people tend to fill their bowls and plates without thinking about serving sizes. But a modest amount of pasta might look small on a big plate. That's enough to satisfy you. And you've got to remember that. Also, look into using smaller plates and bowls to help control your portions. Lots of studies on that. It's a trick that actually works. Don't use a dinner plate for your pasta or for your dinner, whatever it is. Use a salad plate. You'll put less on it and you'll find, gosh, you do feel full. You ever go to a restaurant, a tapas restaurant, and they bring all those little teeny plates, and after you eat one of these and one of these and one of these, gosh, you're full and you didn't even eat a whole meal, you think. But really, you've been eating right along and your stomach got the message and was able to send that message to your brain, and then you stop eating. Also, put down your utensils in between bites because that's going to slow down your eating. And it really is true. If you eat slowly, you feel fuller faster. Something to it. My son is always the last one finished at our dinner table, but I never tell him hurry up because I think it's really great that he takes his time. Now, in general, you've got to keep your portion sizes smaller. So if you have popcorn at the movies, please don't get that giant tub. You're not going to eat it all anyway, but you might be tempted to do it, and a small bag is plenty. Likewise, just get a 6-inch sub. If you're getting a sub sandwich, that's plenty. Unless you're a teenage boy with a crazy metabolism, you probably don't need that 12-inch sub, or if you're a girl who's playing soccer or a track runner or something like that. Also, something my husband and I do when we go out, we split entrees. They are so huge, these entrees, in restaurants, and you just don't need that. And once you get used to smaller portions, you'll see that you can be very happy with a lot less food, and that's less calorie intake. Now, if you're underweight, if you're a person who's barely eating anyway, this is not intended for you. Please keep eating. But if you are struggling with keeping at a healthy weight, this is a really great way to start introducing ways and things that you can do to lose weight or to just maintain the proper weight. Now, here's another one, and it's a big one. Do not eat and watch TV. There are so many studies that have linked TV viewing to overeating. And once in a while, it might be okay if you're doing a pizza and a movie with your family once a month, or you're having a big Super Bowl party. Once a year when my kids were little, we would watch a special Christmas movie, and then there's this one point in the movie where everybody's drinking hot cocoa, and mommy would have made hot cocoa, and then I put the hot cocoa in front of them. That's very nice, and some popcorn. But even people who are normally pretty restrained tend to overdo it if they watch TV and eat. Why? Because you're focused on the TV. So just make it in a rule in your house. It's a rule in our house, too. You can only eat in the kitchen or at the table, and you've got to keep the TV off during that time unless it's a special occasion. And keep your kitchen counters clear of food, except, of course, healthy ones. If there's a banana, that's okay to eat. If you really want to limit your snacking, especially junk food, here's the best advice. Just don't bring it into your house. And if it's not readily available, it's not going to be eaten. You've just got to know that. And, even if you feel like, oh, I just wish I had a soda, or I just wish I had this. If you're in that mood, you probably aren't going to get off the couch and go drive over and just to get one soda or something like that. So what does that mean? You've got to replace junk food with healthier options. Chips and cookies, they are simple carbohydrates. They get digested quickly. They are not going to keep you full very long, but fruit or a whole grain piece of toast with a little peanut butter, that's going to keep you full, and it tastes great, and it's a really good healthy snack. If you do have crackers or nuts in your pantry, keep the bags or containers in there. Just pour out a tiny amount. Keep the rest behind a closed door. Don't ever eat directly from a package because you're going to eat more and more and more and more. My young son likes to eat cereal, and he has that as a snack sometimes. So he'll just pour a little bit into a cup, and that's it. The box goes back on the shelf, and I'm so proud of him for being able to have that restraint and do that. And something else you can do to keep from overeating, mindless eating, is avoid going more than 3 or 4 hours without having something small to eat. It could just be a handful of almonds. That's my go-to. I'll have a few almonds. Or it could be a banana. And when you get very, very hungry, you tend to eat more. So that is something that you want to keep in mind. Try to eat smaller meals throughout the day, or at least have snacks. One other trick I just read about is to start with a 20-ounce glass of water. You drink half of it. As you're drinking that, focus on how your stomach feels. Suddenly, you feel very, very full, right? Then drink the rest of it. And again, pay attention to that feeling in your stomach. You're going to notice how full you are because water stretches out your stomach. So if you're drinking water throughout the day, that's actually another way to avoid mindless eating. And if you join one of those dieting programs or plans, they're going to tell you this like it's earth-shattering news, when really it's just you're trying to keep your stomach a little more stretched out, a little fuller throughout the day so you're not so hungry. And it really does work. And plus, we all need to stay hydrated. So when you're having a snack or having a meal, please pay attention to how much you're eating. The more aware you are of your eating habits, the less overeating you are going to do. So I hope that helps you. And it's a good reminder for all of us. Even if you're very, very good about it, every once in a while, we all tend to slip up sometimes. That's okay too. All of the eating specialists I speak with talk about how if you fall off the wagon, just get right back on it. Don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up over it. This is something we usually talk about at the holidays, right? But it's something you need to keep in mind all year through. So I hope you can start applying that right now. And since it's almost dinner time, maybe you're ready for your little snack before dinner. Have a couple of almonds, have a banana, you'll be good. That'll do it for us. I'm Heidi Godman. My producer is the amazing Luke Roseborough. And you've been listening to Health Check with Heidi Godman on wonderful WSRQ. Now, stay tuned for SRQ Review.